Greetings! Welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. You know, it really does take a lot to get me excited. I'm kind of a mellow guy. Yeah, right, huh? The only thing it takes to get me excited is a new box from China. I can't believe it. It's like Christmas all the time. And right now, wow, Santa just dropped off a whole load of goodies, starting with this one. Oh my goodness. This is one of those trailblazing, cutting edge, you have never seen it before kind of things in this box. Can you tell? It's a bigger box than usual. It's because it's crammed full of memory. Yes, inside this box, right in here, is the quintessential FINOW X5 Air. Yes, the Air is here. The Air is here. What's the Air? What's the Air? The Air is a regular FINOW X5 like you've seen before, the original X5, the X5 Plus, and now the X5 Air. The Air has something really, really unique. It has not 2 gigabytes of RAM. And a whole 16 gigabytes of ROM, or total memory, for the actual storage in the watch. FINOW is offering this in a special kind of way. I'll tell you about that in a minute. We've got a coupon or a link that you can use to get this watch at this discounted price, as long as, well, you'll see in a minute. Anyway, here we go. This is the X5 Air. These are the main features. If you're familiar with the original X5 or the Plus, it's going to be very similar in overall appearance in terms of its quality of build and all of the stuff that's inside of it. It's been enhanced up to the 3G bands that will support US, okay, with the 850 and 1900, as well as the China 2100. So that's a good thing to see. It's got the solid 450 milliamp hour battery. And all these other things are in there too. Okay, now, in terms of how you're going to get this, and I hope you're watching this now. If you're watching this later, well, check the show notes down below. We'll update the sales and the purchasing information as best as possible. But for right now, check the link down below and make sure that you've gone over to the Google G+ community, which is the round Android smartwatches, custom faces, not wear. It's got 17,000 members here. This is where a lot of the custom watch faces come out. And there's a special deal going on. Here's the little note they put on their website. You can pick this up for $109, like you saw on the sheet, as long as you mention RASC, Round Android Smartwatch Community, when you order. So check the link. Go over there. There's only a few days left. You'll be able to pick it up for $109. If you're a little late and you miss this opportunity, you can still get it for $119. Just be sure you mention RASC when you order it in the comments section. Think of it as a coupon, okay? And that will, 1, make sure that you're getting it at the discount price. 2, make sure that it's reflected in support of the watch community and this channel. We all work together, and beneficial, very beneficial, for not only getting more watches here for me to show you, but a couple of watches here and there for these guys to be able to do the technical support that's needed for you guys when you run into problems and need to flash it, or you want to know more about running personalized watch faces on it. So that's what I'm telling you about. That's what we've got. This is the FINOW X5 Air. We're going to turn it on in a minute, but let's see what else comes in the box. We've got, whoa, that I haven't seen before. You see that little thing shining through? I think this is a screen protector that you can put on here, and the protector is protected itself. Wow. Make sure you're in a dust-free environment, right? Open this little thing up, bring that little screen protector out, follow the procedures. You stick one side of it on, make sure you don't have any bubbles there, and then you peel off the cover, and you've got yourself a nice screen protector on the watch. So that comes with it. We have the charging cable. And if you recall, the X5 line uses a charging dock. So the cable itself will plug into a dock, which we're going to find deeper down in here. Here's a bag of air. There's nothing in here. I bet this was supposed to be in there. Oh, there's a smaller bag with some extra screws, because on the X5 you need to take the screws off to take the back off to get in here to put the SIM card inside the watch. It's a legacy design, but it's a workhorse solid design. Here's another one that they sent in that's not inside the bag. And then here's the little manual that goes with it. We'll look at that in a minute. A screwdriver and the charging dock. And the charging dock looks like the standard one that we've seen before, and it's got the little alignment pin on here and the points that just connect right there and plug in your USB cord, and you can charge away. And it's good and solid, strong magnets. The screwdriver, like I said, for the screws, and that's everything that comes in the box. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Charge this thing up. I'm going to get it all ready. We'll turn it on and we'll run it through its paces. In the meantime, I also want to bring over the X5 Plus and the original X5, so we can kind of look at them side by side. And I will load it up with the Antutu so we can get the Antutu report results. And yeah, let's have fun. Oh, whoa, I almost forgot the manual. Let's take a look at the itty-bitty writing on the manual. I hope you guys can see and read this on your big screen TV with YouTube playing. Talks about the basics. There's where the SIM card is inside, and you've got the 3 buttons. Overall, the operation of the X5 Air hasn't changed significantly from the Plus or the original, except that the UI, the user interface, has been updated somewhat, and you're about to see that when we run through the overall operation of the watch. It's a little smoother, and with all that extra RAM in there, I'm guessing you might be able to do some game playing on this watch. We'll see. Okay. Well, here they all are, the original X5, the X5 Plus, and the new X5 Air. Let's take a little walk down nostalgia lane. The original X5 has the original first watch face on it that we've seen from before, and it's been permeated and maintained across all of the platforms. If you remember in my old videos, I was so green at this, I thought that it worked like a regular watch, and you pull out the center dial and twist it to make changes. And look what happened. Yeah, but it's still a very good functional watch. Not a problem with the watch, a problem with the watch operator. But this is my X5, and it might fall out if I turn it, and I don't want you guys to be shocked, so I'll tell you that I did it. And I did, in another video, show you how you could work around it. I can do everything on this watch except turn it on and turn it off without that button. Pretty cool. Guess I don't need the button. We'll leave it out for right now. I'll put it back in if I need it, maybe to turn it off. So when we looked at this watch, we found that if you touched it, you went into all of your apps, including the settings. It was really badly lit, bright white background. You can barely read it probably from up there. And then all the apps scrolled across in really big display in a linear way. We also did the Antutu Benchmark Test, which I'll run right now. I've already run it and came up with 9890. So hold on to that number, because we're going to compare these things as the processors and memory changed. Okay. That's on the original X5. Then came the X5 Plus, which was a bump up to 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of ROM, right? Or internal memory. There's our same picture again. No, I didn't pull the button out on this one. When you touch it, nothing happened. Why? Because we found that oftentimes you touch your watch and people would be going in and launching apps. So there was a change that touching did nothing to the screen. You had to swipe. But to get to apps, you had to swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe. Whoops, I missed them. There they are. And there's the apps. And settings was removed from the apps in a whole separate thing on its own. Also, when you were back at the beginning, you couldn't swipe to the left to get like a looping thing going on, which new watches are doing now. Just let that little tidbit out. So the only way to get to apps was, as you saw, to go all the way over like that and then go into it. But we did that. We ran the Antutu Benchmark Test on this one, and we got a screaming 22,818, okay, compared to the 9980. That's huge. That's more than double as we went to larger memory and a larger quad-core processor. Then we come to today's new watch, the X5 Air. Same picture, same situation. You touch it and nothing happens. However, an improvement, when you scroll to the right on the X5 Air, you go right into the apps. And they're designed in a nice little curved fashion, so you can slide them up and down like this. Pretty slick, huh? So improvements, whoops, hello, I don't want to go there yet. Improvements in the overall user interface have helped out a lot. And what about this? 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of total memory or ROM? Well, what does the Antutu Benchmark do with that kind of information? It gives you a report of? Well, let's find out. I guess I didn't run it yet. It's going to run through the graphic card first, which will test whether or not it can render in 3D. And there it is. One thing you look for when it's doing this is how smooth is it? Is it jerky? Is it going pretty smooth? Fairly nice. There is volume playing, but I don't have the volume up very loud, so we're not hearing that. But we are seeing the rendering in the video. Usually you need at least 1 gigabyte of RAM to be able to get the graphics to work on these watches. And more than 4 gigabytes of memory, at least 8 of total memory. So this being a 2 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte watch, which is twice as much, right, and in both categories as the X5 Plus, should definitely give us a better score. This takes a long time to do, so I'm going to pause right now and I'll pick up the video when it's completed. Okay, we're getting close. We're at 95%, 97 on the X5 Air. What is our Antutu score? We're comparing it against 22,818, 21,091. What? The X5 Air is lower than the X5 Plus? Interesting. No comment on that other than that's the facts, ma'am. Okay, so we've run the Antutu benchmark, and we can go into the AIDA 64 on our new watch, check the system to show you that, indeed, we are looking at 2 gigabytes of internal RAM, which leaves this amount available, and then our storage availability, 13 point some odd gigabytes, which after you subtract out the operating system and such from 16 gigabytes is about what you'd expect. So we've got the portfolio or the compilation of the different memory as specified, as verified with the AIDA 64. And the CPU that's running quad core, here's that information. Okay, buttonology. Let's talk a minute about buttonology. On this one, when you press, when you're in different places and you press the side button, it turns it off. Low power already? I just fully charged it. Well, okay. We're in power savings modes, folks. When you press it and you press it back on, it comes back to here, the center button. On all of the other ones, when you press the center button, it takes you right back to your watch face. Ah, button, come here, button. Okay. And there. But different ways. This boom, went right to it. This one slid you across the UE, and this one just keeps you right where you're at. So let's say I go into display brightness. And display brightness is the thing that gives me that little slider on the side that I can enable. There it is. And I can adjust the brightness simply by sliding, supposedly. Doesn't seem to be working. 100%. There we go. 50%. Well, anyway, if I press the side button, it comes out of that, comes back to there, turns off, and comes back to there. Little weird. I'm not sure about that. This is what you got to press to come back to your watch face. Now, maybe they assume that if you're deep down into all of your apps, that you don't want to have to scroll back there again. So it's just an on-off to take you back here. But one of the things I noticed was when you supposedly have the twist to show the time function happening, that it's not happening. And on the other ones, when you twist it, it lights it up. So some strange things going on in the way the interface operates here on the X5 Air. There it was on the watch face. Now I twist it, and I'm not getting there. Even though, if we check in the settings up here, in the power savings, I have it turned on. Well, okay, it is in power saving mode now, so agree. I'm turning that off, but I do have these on. Again, I got to go up there to get up there, but that doesn't turn it off, so I got to go here to turn it off. Now, it still doesn't twist and turn on. So I've had an issue with that twist to turn on thing, and I've got a little complication with how the buttons are working. What does the bottom button do? I'm not sure. If I'm in settings somewhere, if I press and hold, it's not bringing up an emergency call thing. This is the one that brings me back to there, and to there. And this one always seems to bring me back to there, but only to there and off. You get the feel for it? All right, I'm going to take some time to charge the watch back up again, then we'll continue. Okay, we got a bit of a charge on it now, so let's continue with the review. Definitely want to get it done and out as soon as possible so you can take advantage of the super discount price that's going on right now. From the main screen, when you swipe down, you get your notifications. I got 3 apps waiting for approval, I guess. When you swipe up with my sticky fingers, you get several pages, one of which shows you your power, the date. This one, which is now an interesting grid, has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and cellular connection. It has power saver, the twist arm to see the time, and airplane mode. It has the one that lets you make the box, the apps in a little square or full circle. It has your brightness level, and it has location services. So that's nice. Everything is in a little 3x3 grid here. The clean all sort of replaces on some of the other watches where you can see all of the apps that are opened and you can remove them all. It's kind of cleans up any background apps that are running. At least that's my understanding of it. And then weather, which doesn't work. I'm not getting weather connectivity, whether I have Wi-Fi and location on, GPS locking. For whatever reason, weather's not coming through. And that doesn't loop. So those are the screens you get when you swiped down. I swipe up to go back. No, I don't. I swipe down to go back. All right, swipe down gets to there. Swipe up is what gets to there. Swiping to the left goes nowhere. And swiping to the right goes here, and then you can't go any further. So that's the layout of the watch. Then, in terms of your installed apps, you have phone, which is just basically phone. Okay. You have overall settings. We'll get back to that. Your watch helper is when you're Bluetooth connected to your phone, the different things that you can do and modes you can set. You can see all of that, right? Find your phone, transfer files. There's the actual QR code. You can scan that off of your YouTube with your camera on your phone and then look it up. Download that app. You'll know which one they're supporting. Okay, that's Watch Helper. In the health area, you can set all your parameters up for your gender, height, weight, age, and your stride or your step size, which is really good for knowing your actual distance that you walk. And then you can confirm it. And you're in the mode. And I've walked 232 steps back and forth with this today. And this, you see the little green circle thing, he's going to go all the way around. And so will that little orange one. That tells you stuff about your overall health. Okay, in the step area. Then you've got the heart rate sensor built into it. And this is a common one we've seen on the other watches. The sensor's right in the middle on the back. And it makes this little dial go up and up and up as if it were like blood pressure squeezing. You know how they do that? The doctor does that and gets the pressure real high, then brings it back down to read your blood pressure. Well, this is not blood pressure. This is heart rate, but it gives you something to look at while it computes it. And there you go. It tells you that I'm relaxed, and that's my blood pressure. Common implementation of the heart rate sensor and user interface dialogue for the new generation of the Android 5.1 current version on these watches. That takes me back to messages, your standard stock SMS messages if you have your SIM card in. Music is your installed music that you put on your watch, and with 16 gigabytes you can put a whole bunch in there. Your contacts, if I touch that, you see all my Google contacts are populated, plus any contacts you have from your SIM card. Your tools. Now here you get a whole list of tools. You've got the overall file manager, which is where you can see I've used 1.7 gigabytes and still have 11 and a quarter of them left. And in here, I've got a whole bunch of apps that I like to use that I've been installing on here. We've played with some of those like Antutu already. I'll scroll through them because these are some interesting ones you may want to download yourself from the Google Play Store. I don't have to go to the Play Store over and over and over again to download those. I just made a folder called Apps Tech, the technical apps, and put them in here. Also, the Clock Skins folder, you can create that. Put in all the different watch faces, your custom ones. I've changed the names of them and sequenced them so that, I can reorder how they appear alphabetically. You don't have a way of moving them after they're in there, so you have to kind of organize your folders. But I'm getting too deep in that. Anyway, this is the stuff that your file manager shows you in Tools. You have your weather. If it's working, that would be where it would come in, and it would show you your current weather conditions. Not sure why it's not working, but the barometer is tied to the weather. So if weather doesn't work, you're not getting the barometric pressure either. Then you have your stock browser that comes with the watch. I prefer the Apis browser, not the turbo, but the basic. Apis is a good one. A Chrome, if you don't mind all the data that thing eats all the time, going back and forth to synchronize. Those are a couple of browsers. Your downloads area, if you have any downloads, they'll show up here. The sound recorder, very basic. You can simply press the button and start talking, and it'll record what you're saying. You hit done, you hit save. You come back here to your list. Wow, I can hardly even hear that. That's about the lowest I've heard out of a watch. I'm hoping the sound is turned up. I think it was. We'll check that in settings. If it was down, I'll come back here, remind me, and we'll play that thing again, but it's very, very soft. Calendar is very basic. Calendar, can't do anything with it. Alarms, very basic. You set the alarms, turn them on, turn them off. The App Store, this is not the Google Play Store, but it's an app store maintained as a service to provide common apps that you're going to be using that you don't need to have a Google account or log into the Google Store to get access to, like Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, a stock quote thing, currency checker, Skype, Chrome, and a health reminder. This I've seen on almost every watch that supports this. It's like one company makes these watch app, this watch app with the App Store thing, and the apps are all maintained there. Sorry, it's kind of blooming out. These are in color. I'm not sure if I can get the brightness down on here, but it's definitely washing out on the camera. Let me adjust that. Wow, I'm as low as I can get it, and it's still kind of washed out on the screen. Well, they're just little circles with icons on them. Your voice search lets you do a Google voice search without having to have a Google account. You just do, what's the weather like, all that kind of stuff. There's your regular Google app, and then, of course, the Play Store. Now, those are the stock apps that come in the Tools section. This is all part of what comes with it. Then when you're back in the overall apps, after Tools, all that's the stock stuff, then you get into the ones that you can install. So I put in the display brightness, which is what I've been using, that little slider on the side, see the percentage there? To try and tweak the brightness all the way down. Display brightness is not in the Google Play Store anymore. Maybe it'll be back. In the meantime, I've got an archived copy of it. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. If not, it's in the show notes of other videos if you want to download it from there. The AIDA64, we looked at that, what's in the watch. We did the Antutu report, app backup and restore, lets you back up all your apps, and then, of course, you can transfer them off of here to your computer or phone or whatever you want to reinstall later if you want. The Apis browser I mentioned in engineering mode, MTK, helps you to work with the GPS. I'm not going to go that far today. It's probably standard GPS technology. There's nothing new. The antennas are in the bands. It's pretty much the same kind of watch with just a difference in memory from the X5 Plus. So we're presuming the GPS is the same. The Bluetooth is the same. The Wi-Fi is the same. Floating toucher is a thing that puts a little dot on the screen. Gesture search you can use to write gestures. Lots of these have been covered in other videos. Setting search, again, is another really nice one that lets you have lots of accessibility to things that you don't normally get when you access this in the settings of the watch itself. In particular, apps. If you needed to go in here and, for example, turn off or clear the data on one of your apps, you can do that one by one, whereas typically you can't do that on the standard system. You can just uninstall it. Yahoo Weather is what I like to use for a weather substitute. And if I go into weather and bypass my current location, you see you can have weather from all these other places, San Francisco, New York, any notices like flash flood notices going on right now. You can have the location Shenzhen, China, where they make these watches. It's mostly cloudy over there, and all of that stuff. So Yahoo Weather's a substitute if you really want weather, and you can make Fahrenheit if you like. These are fun little things I put in, speech keys, speech notes, and speech logger. In the previous videos I did about offline speech to text, I talk a lot about those, and they work really, really well. Just to give you one quick example, if I can get to it, on speech notes. Once it settles, you simply click the microphone, and it'll start typing what you're saying. And the really nice thing about this is that it doesn't shut off, period. It'll keep on going and waiting for you. So what happens with the Google Voice thing, if you're trying to use it like to compose sentences or do something with it, it tends to shut off when you pause. But this one will keep going. And again, I apologize for the brightness issue. It's you can kind of see it typing though, right? Okay. Has nothing to do with this watch. That's just something that I've been playing with recently. And yes, it'll work with the offline mode as well, the note program. Voice search is, again, their stock voice search system. Google and the Play Store are appearing here as well. And then there's another part of the Antutu benchmarking app that we went through. So all in all, here you have it, the X5 Air, right? The layout is different now than what we've seen on the X5 Plus. On this one, remember, to get to the apps, you have to scroll all the way over, and you're kind of locked in like this. We're hoping there'll be an update to this that'll behave somewhat like what we see on the Q7 from FINOW, where you can scroll to the left. So you're not stuck. I mean, this is the same kind of layout, right? You see all of that. And it goes all the way to the settings and then back to the screen. This one on the X5 Plus gets stuck. What it does here is it loops. So it's taken off that membrane between here and there that you can't get past. And that's a really nice way of doing the user interface. It's not on the X5 Plus yet, but perhaps a firmware update, since it's now showing up on the Q7 line, could incorporate that, because obviously it's feasible. But the way it's done here is, that's the original X5. Sorry, I'm confusing things. The way it's done here is you have this curvy kind of a layout for your apps, and you get to them from here. And most of the secondary apps you'll find are in the folder called Tools. All right. So once again, this is the X5 Air. It's coming to us from FINOW. They've got their own storefront, and you can pick it up at this particular price for just a few days longer, as long as you're participating with the Round Android Smartwatches Custom Faces Google Plus community thing, right? And last again, there's a little note they've put up there that if you go to the website, we'll have the link for you to buy the watch. Just make sure you put in RASC in the notes, Round Android Smartwatch Community, to pick it up for $109. When that's over, it'll still be $119, which is going to be a considerable discount off of the regular $150. But just make sure you mention RASC. You have been watching Smartwatch Ticks. Really appreciate your participation and subscription. We're getting so many watches up here and so much stuff going on. And this is why I don't give them away, folks. Look, it's 2 years later and I still need to pull out my old broken X5 to give you guys a demo of comparison of the changes of technology across this line. And we'll see that in other watches as well. But we're going from your basic 10,000 Antutu report to a 22,000 report with a 1 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte RAM, and then a 21,000 Antutu report. A little bit less, actually, speed-wise than the X5 Plus. The Plus is the one that's got the higher Antutu report. But the X5 Air has got 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes worth of internal memory. And for $109, that's a steal. These are probably, this is definitely discontinued. This, I don't know if you can pick that up anymore. If it's not on the sites, if it says discontinued, this will be the new one. So if you're going to get an X5 version of the watch, you're going to be ending up with the Air one way or another. So you may as well go ahead and fork over the money, pick it up now while you can get it at a good price. We'll see you again soon. Got lots more coming. Thanks for watching. Oh, you're right. Oh, you got me. Sorry, I totally forgot. Settings. Settings. Sound. Volumes. Oh, look, they're really low. That's all the louder it was. I'm going to crank these up. Okay, full volume on everything. Where were we on the sound recorder, huh? Okay. Oh, you know what? That was in Tools, wasn't it? Health, heart rate, messages, music, contacts, Tools, and sound recorder. And then we recorded one, so we have it here. And this is what it sounds like, full volume.
You can simply press the button and start talking, and it'll record what you're saying.
Yeah, it works great.
You can simply press the button and start talking, and it'll record what you're saying.
There. Now we're done.